Hey everyone, thank you for taking the time to join us today. So I just wanted to talk about the most famous red team path. So if you choose to go down a penetration tester, you want to become a penetration tester, bug bounty hunter, something along the lines where you are actually hacking into devices, breaking code, and getting into it. I'm going to talk a little bit about that and what the lifestyle is like and how it you accomplish and get to become a red team. So lots of people want to be red team because they see it inside the movies. It is one of the cooler paths to have, and it's something that consists of different teams. So you have vulnerability teams, you have penetration teams. On the penetration teams, there are bug bounty hunters. Some companies actually do pay a lot of money to get bug bounty hunters. I didn't include them here because a lot of them are freelancers and they do work contracts and they kind of bug bounty hunt on their own time. But there are some companies that actually do pay for bug bounty hunters. And they do have the bug bounty hunters that do help them work through and get through what they need to get through. So the other thing is, like I said, it's the cool part of movies. You ever watched you know, the robot movie? I can't even think of the name of it right now. Someone just commented below for me. I don't know why. I just forgot about it. But you've seen it all the time, right? There's hackers in every movie. They hack banks. They do illogical things that just don't even make sense that hackers normally don't do. So there's so many paths to choose from inside of cybersecurity itself and in red teaming. So when you get into the actual red team, as you can see, there are two of them inside the actual middle here. You have the um, red team operations here that you can actually see. You can actually see the offensive operations. You can see the specialized offensive operations. I'm going to talk a little bit about those. So when you get into the actual offensive operations, you can start talking about vulnerability analysis, where you're kind of doing vulnerability scanning, um, and managing the actual vulnerabilities that happen and the patch cycles. And as a red team, that's a great place to start. If you really want to be a red teamer, you gotta start on the vulnerability team, learn about the vulnerabilities, learn about, the hacker techniques. They do have a 504 class. This is SANS, and again, I'm not familiar with or affiliated with SANS, but they do have the 504 class, which is a nice class to go to if you've ever been to SANS. SANS is incredibly expensive, so normally an employer would send you there. But this shows the best roadmap. So you kind of want to learn about the hacker techniques first, and then you want to move into the offensive operations, the specialized offensive operations, and from there you can get into areas like cloud. You can get into areas like bug bounty hunting, web application testing, and so forth. But learning about the actual process of the vulnerability analysis is going to be critical. So there are many different ways. If you're intro level, you want to get into red teaming, and this is really just intro level. Like you don't know anything about red teaming, you know a little bit about cybersecurity, or maybe you just know, hey, they use Kali Linux all the time, and nothing else, or they develop their own Linux box, or something along those lines, right? Um, CompTIA does have a pen test course. It's a good course to learn about the fundamentals, and it's good to get into it, right? But if we really want to get into it, this is where we need to be. And where we need to be is actually going into the Hack the Box courses and the Qualys courses. So we're going to start with the actual Qualys. So on Qualys itself, we have a few courses here that actually are free, where you can learn about the vulnerability management, you can learn about the fundamentals, and a lot more. And I'll post these links in the chats, guys. But this teaches you a lot about vulnerability scanning, and the best thing about it is they're all free. So they have the foundations, detection, response, cybersecurity assessment, teaches response, patch management, policies, PCI, endpoint detection, responses, and a lot of companies use Qualys. So if you get familiar with this tool, it's going to be a lot easier for you to land roles in certain areas and certain companies that you want to land into. So they do have free training. You log in. Some of these are paid that you do at the buy, but for the most part, they are free, and they give you a very good and solid fundamentals and foundation. Now, getting into that, we also have what's known as Hack the Box. So I like Hack the Box. A lot of people And again, I'm not affiliated with this at all, but a lot of people choose to use Hack the Box. There is Try Hack Me out there. I'm not 100% familiar on it or affiliated or familiar with what it consists of. But if we go down to the actual Hack the Box, right? So you have a whole bunch of resources. They have their own academy that you're learning. You're doing hacking labs, and they have hacking labs. So let's talk a little bit about the academy. The academy is cool. They have different paths inside the academy. You do start for free. I recommend it. You know, if you want to be a bug bounty hunter, if you want to learn basic tool sets, cracking into Hack the Box, um, you know, or just local Priv-esque penetration tester, you know, they have ways and places for you to start. And a lot of it you do have to pay for, but you start building who you are. And if you stay with me on this course, we will be going through a lot of this Hack the Box. We will be going through a lot of this materials. I won't be showing any of the flags because I think it's against the rules that I don't want to lose access to my account, but they do have it. Now, if you go down the actual labs as well, so they have 2 different accounts in 2 different areas that you sign into, right? So if you go into the hacking labs, they have a lot of things in here, which is nice. They do have a starting point um, on the labs, which I think is extremely helpful for a lot of users to get into the actual starting point and, you know, start learning how to get into it. It teaches you how to hack, what to look for, how to connect the boxes, and everything. So we can go over, if you want to see how to set up a VM for a hacking instance, I'll gladly walk you through that. Post it in the comment, and I can walk anyone through that, talk it through, stuff like that. But when you get into it, you really want to get into it, and then you want to jump over to the OSCP, right? So after you spend some time on the vulnerability management team, you've learned, you've done Try Hack Me, maybe you're trying to get into a gig with penetration testing, you understand CVEs, CWEs, all of that, you know, then you want to move into, hey, let's move into penetration testing. And this is where you get into the OffSec stuff. And again, I'm not affiliated with these guys, but this is what we see inside the industry. This is industry standard. These are certifications. You look at jobs, tons of jobs. And getting into some of these roles here, we could start seeing different roles, you know, and what they're really looking for. So this is really where you get down to other ones. Other ones want more certifications. OSCP is qualified. So these GPENs and GWAP are SAN certifications, but, you know, they only list an OSCP on the OffSec. So, I mean, that speaks numbers and volumes there. I think so, because if they're looking for just the OSCP, then obviously it holds higher standards than all the other ones. However, the SANS courses will do. And I really recommend getting into that and going into those roles and directions. Now, after you take the OSCP, you can explore into other regions inside OffSec. So let me show you guys that as well. So after we take the OSCP, there are other OffSec items that we can move into. So if you want to move into like web application or really get into like bug bounty hunting, they have advanced Windows exploitation, which is the OSCE. And the OSCE is an extremely hard course. So you really need to know what you're doing. You really need to work. I don't know why it's like it says a 400 course. It should be like an 800 course. But no, honestly, anyone who's ever taken that course understands how hard it is. I've read a lot of notes on it. It is something that I would like to achieve in the future, you know, just for myself to have and go through. But, you know, it's extremely difficult, extremely hard to understand. And throughout the journey of this YouTube channel, I am hoping to eventually get to that OSCE level. So if you guys stay with me on the journey, I hope you guys join me with it, and I hope, you know, I help you get there as well. But other than that, I just want to reach out. Thank you everyone for coming in, joining, and remember, it's all about the grind, guys.